baby's faint cry pierces the air of a chaotic hospital waiting room. His young mother, her face pale and streaked with tears, clutches him tightly, pleading, "Please, he's burning up. He needs a doctor now." The nurse behind the desk doesn't flinch, barking, "Sit down and wait." Nearby, an elderly man slumps in his chair, gasping, his hand pressed to his chest in agony. He waves weakly at a passing doctor, who sneers, "Not my problem," and strides away. The room is a mess. Desperate voices, ignored cries, suffering everywhere. Then a man slips in quietly, wearing a faded jacket and a baseball cap pulled low. No one notices him. No one knows he's Keanu Reeves, the guy who secretly built this hospital to save lives. He's undercover, watching, fury building. Something's rotten here, and he's about to blow it wide open. Keanu Reeves isn't just a movie star. Sure, you know him from The Matrix and John Wick, kicking butt and breaking box office records. But off-screen, he's a legend for a different reason: his kindness. He's the guy who gives away millions without bragging, who stops to help strangers on the street. Years ago, he had a dream: to build a hospital where money didn't matter, where every single person could get top-notch care. So he poured his own fortune into it, kept his name off the sign, and trusted the staff to run it right. No spotlight, no fuss, just pure heart. For a while, it worked. Reports came back glowing, patients treated, lives saved, staff thriving. Keanu smiled from afar, thinking his vision was alive. But then, cracks started showing. Anonymous emails hit his inbox, stories of neglect, arrogance, and a doctor treating patients like dirt. Keanu's gut twisted. This wasn't what he'd built. He had to see it for himself. One stormy night, he hopped on his beat-up motorcycle, threw on a scruffy jacket and jeans, and rode to the hospital. No limo, no security, just Keanu, blending in like a regular Joe. He pushed through the glass doors, the hum of fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. The reception desk was ahead, staffed by a woman with tired eyes and a permanent scowl. "Evening," Keanu said, his voice low and polite. "I need a consultation." She barely looked up from her screen. "Name?" "Keanu." Her lips twitched, like she thought it was a joke. "Insurance?" "I'll pay cash," he said, unfazed. She sighed, shoving a slip of paper at him. "Take a number. It's a long wait." Keanu nodded, no argument, and found a seat between a trembling old man and a young mom cradling a sick baby. The baby's whimpers were soft but endless. The mom's face was raw with worry. The old man wheezed, clutching his chest like it might explode. Keanu's heart sank. This wasn't a hospital. It was a waiting room to nowhere. He scanned the chaos. Nurses darted past, avoiding eye contact. Doctors strutted by, ignoring pleas. A rich-looking guy in a suit waltzed in, cutting the line with a smug grin, and the staff practically bowed to him. Keanu's fists clenched. He'd seen enough already, but he stayed quiet. He needed the whole story before he made his move. Keanu settled into his seat, eyes sharp, taking it all in. The mother next to him rocked her baby faster, whispering, "Hang on, sweetie," her voice cracking. The old man beside him coughed, his face graying by the minute. Keanu wanted to shout, to demand help, but he held back. He had to play this smart, get the proof, expose the rot. A loud voice sliced through the noise. "Next!" A tall doctor marched in, clipboard in hand, white coat spotless. He carried himself like a king. Dr. Javier Fuentes, head of the ER. Keanu had read the complaints about him: rude, ruthless, untouchable. Now he'd see it live. The mom leapt up, clutching her baby. "Doctor, please! My son's fever won't break. He's so weak." Javier stopped, eyeing her like she was gum on his shoe. "Fever, huh? Wait your turn. We're not a walk-in clinic." Her eyes welled up. "But he's only 6 months old. He's barely moving." He sipped his coffee, bored. "Kids get sick. Sit down or take him somewhere else. I've got real emergencies." She staggered back, defeated, tears spilling as she sank into her chair. Keanu's blood boiled. He gripped the armrests, forcing himself to stay calm. Not yet. Javier moved on, brushing off more patients. A teenage girl with a limp begged for help. He snapped, "It's just a sprain. Stop whining." An old woman with a hacking cough got, "Take some syrup and leave me alone." The staff watched, heads down, too scared to intervene. Then a guy stumbled in, maybe 20, his hand wrapped in a bloody rag. "I cut myself bad," he said, voice shaking. The receptionist waved him to Javier's office. Keanu leaned forward. "This should be a slam dunk, right?" "Wrong." Javier's voice exploded from the room. You're wasting my time with that. It's a scratch. Go home, the guy mumbled. It won't stop bleeding. Javier laughed, cold and sharp. What, you want a medal? Get out before I charge you for stupidity. The kid slunk out, head low, blood dripping on the floor. Keanu's jaw tightened so hard it hurt. This wasn't care, it was a power trip. He stood, intercepting the kid. Hey, let me see. He pulled a bandana from his pocket, wrapping it tight around the gash. You need stitches. Don't let him push you around. The kid blinked, grateful but confused. Thanks, man. Who are you? Just someone who gives a damn, Keanu said, sending him off with a nod. Javier caught the exchange and strutted over, smirking. What's this, hero? You a doctor now? Keanu met his gaze, steady. I'm someone who knows bleeding isn't a joke. Javier chuckled. Oh, you're a tough guy, huh? Stick to waiting your turn, pal. Is this how you run things? Keanu asked, voice low. Humiliating people who need help? Javier's eyes narrowed. This is my ER. I decide who's worth my time. Don't like it? Doors that way. Keanu didn't flinch. I'm not going anywhere. Javier snorted and walked off, muttering, loser. He had no clue who he'd just messed with. Keanu needed more. He slipped down a hallway to the staff break room, where two nurses whispered behind a cracked door. Javier's at it again, one said. That kid with the cut, he could have bled out. The other sighed. He doesn't care. Skips tests, rushes patients out, looks good on paper, management eats it up. And the poor ones, he treats them like garbage. We complain, we're toast. Keanu stepped in, calm but firm. Sorry to barge in. I need to know. Why's Javier untouchable? They froze. Then one spoke. He's their golden boy, saves money, boosts stats. We're stuck. And the patients? Keanu pressed. They suffer, she admitted. No cash, no care. It's wrong. Keanu nodded. Thanks for telling me. He turned to leave, mind racing. Time to end this. Back in the waiting room, he approached the desk again. That baby and the old man, they're dying out here. Do something. The receptionist glared. Rules are rules. Wait. Rules don't trump lives, Keanu shot back. She smirked. Think you're smarter than us? Sit down. Keanu's patience snapped. He headed for the security desk. Get me the administrator, now. The guard hesitated, then called it in. Game on. Keanu stormed upstairs to a sleek conference room. The administrator, a slick suit named Gregson, sat at the table, frowning. What's this about? Keanu sat, voice like steel. I'm Keanu Reeves. I own this hospital. Gregson's face drained of color. The room went dead quiet. A nurse gasped. Guards shifted awkwardly. I built this place for fairness, Keanu said. But it's a disgrace. Babies ignored, old men dying in chairs, kids bleeding out, all while your Dr. Javier plays God. Gregson stammered, Mr. Reeves, we didn't know you were... Save it, Keanu cut in. I saw Javier humiliate a mother begging for her sick kid. Saw him mock a guy with a gash. Your staff's terrified, and patients are paying the price. Gregson wiped his brow. Javier's efficient, he keeps costs down. Efficient? Kazan slammed the table. He's a monster. You let him torture people for your precious budget? A nurse piped up, voice shaky. He's right. We've reported Javier, but nothing happens. We're silenced. Keanu nodded at her. That stops now. Gregson squirmed. You can't just... I can, Keanu said, standing. This is my hospital. Get Javier in here. A guard bolted. Minutes later, Javier burst in, fuming. Who's dragging me up here? Gregson gulped. He's the owner? Javier blinked, then sneered at Keanu. What, the motorcycle guy? You're kidding. Keanu stepped close. I saw you treat patients like trash. You're done, Javier laughed. I'm the best doctor here. You don't know medicine. You're just some actor. You're a coward hiding behind a title, Keanu said. I don't need a degree to know you're poison. Javier bristled. I save this place money. You need me. No, Keanu growled. We need healers, not tyrants. You're fired. Javier's jaw dropped. You can't. Guards, Keanu called. They grabbed Javier, who thrashed and yelled, This is insane! You'll crash without me! Take him out, Keanu ordered. Javier's shouts echoed as he was hauled away. Keanu faced Gregson. You're on thin ice. Fix this, or you're next. Gregson nodded frantically. Yes, sir. The nurse smiled, tears in her eyes. Keanu gave her a nod. The fight wasn't over, but the tide had turned. Keanu exhaled, adrenaline fading. He sat back down, eyes on Gregson. Here's how we save this place. Gregson grabbed a pen, desperate to please. Anything you say. First, Keanu said, anonymous reporting for staff. No more fear. They see abuse, they speak. Done, Gregson scribbled. Second, mandatory training. Every doctor, nurse, clerk. Empathy, not egos. They learn to care again. Gregson nodded. We'll start next week. Third, patient priority overhaul. No VIP nonsense. Sickest first, rich or poor. The nurse beamed. You mean it? Every word, Keanu said. This hospital's for people, not profit. Over the next month, the changes rolled out. Javier's exit sent shockwaves. Some staff cheered, others panicked. Keanu stuck around, sleeves rolled up, meeting nurses, checking charts, listening. The break room buzzed with ideas. Fix the leaky roof, hire more hands, ditch the outdated gear. He greenlit it all. The neglected patients got justice. The baby's mom returned. Her son was treated fast, fever broken. The old man with chest pain got a stent, grinning from his bed. The kid with the cut hand came back for stitches, thanking that guy with the bandana. Word spread. The owner was here, and he wasn't playing. Staff straightened up, scared at first, then relieved. Keanu wasn't a dictator, he just demanded decency. One morning he walked the halls again. The waiting room hummed, but not with despair. Nurses chatted with patients. Doctors knelt to explain meds. The receptionist smiled at an elderly woman, saying, "We'll get you in soon." It wasn't perfect, but it was alive. A little girl ran up, pigtails bouncing. "Are you Keanu?" He crouched, smiling. "Yeah, hi. My brother said you fixed the hospital. He's better now. Thank you." Keanu's throat tightened. "Tell him I'm glad he's okay." She hugged him, then darted off. Keanu stood, watching her go. This was why he'd fought. Outside, the sun broke through the clouds. He glanced back at the building, its flaws fading under new hope. He'd come to stop a nightmare and ended up restarting a dream. "Hey, you," he called to the camera. "Where are you watching from? Drop it in the comments. I want to know.